Tuesday, October 6th. Welcome to CGN News. Prime Minister of Barbados, Mia Mottley, has written to German Chancellor and the European Union, the EU, on plans to blacklist the country. Barbados is scheduled to be blacklisted by the EU today, Tuesday, due to its failure to enact tax framework within the 2015 to 2018 time frame. Barbados was required to implement the changes in order to become compliant on the exchange of tax information. But the necessary legislative framework was put in place by December of 2019 after the stipulated time frame. The country was rated partially compliant when the review was completed in March of this year. Mottley says the move to blacklist the country is wrong and disproportionate. Antigua-Barbuda on Monday questioned its categorization by the United States as a Level 3 high-risk destination. The island's ambassador to the United States, Sir Ronald Sanders, has outlined his concerns to the Centers for Disease Control, the CDC, the State Department, and the Governor of New York. Sanders called for an urgent review of the conditions in the country regarding the control and prevention of the coronavirus COVID-19. The diplomat said that the facts would indicate that at worst, Antigua and Barbuda should be categorized as a Level 1 low-risk destination and more accurately should be listed as requiring no travel health notice. Hurricane Delta has rapidly intensified into a Category 2 in the Caribbean Sea and is expected to hammer Mexico's Yucatan Peninsula by Wednesday. Delta continues to pose a hurricane danger to the U.S. Gulf Coast late this week, with threats of storm surge flooding, damaging winds, and heavy rainfall. A hurricane warning is in effect from Tulum to Zilam, Mexico, including Cancun and Cozumel. Hurricane conditions are expected in this area by early Wednesday, with conditions deteriorating Tuesday. A tropical storm warning has been issued for the Cayman Islands and western Cuba, where tropical storm conditions are expected Tuesday and/or Wednesday. After a hiatus from Jamaica due to its borders being closed to stem the spread of the coronavirus COVID-19 earlier this year, Virgin Atlantic has resumed flights to the island. Virgin Atlantic flight VS165 from London, England carried some 192 passengers and 10 crew members to the Sangster International Airport in St. James on October 2. During a press briefing at the airport manager of Virgin Atlantic, Ethan Hubbard, told journalists that Jamaica is an important destination to the company. The island's borders were closed to incoming passengers in March of this year to limit the spread of the COVID-19 virus and was reopened in June. Actions to eliminate violence against women are being strengthened by the newly launched Spotlight Initiative Regional Program Caribbean. The program is intended to place the issue at the center of efforts to achieve gender equality in keeping with the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development. It is being implemented in partnership with the European Union, the United Nations, and other partners. The initiative is supported by a €500 million investment, with the EU as the main contributor, with $50 million to be spent within the Caribbean. Jamaica, Trinidad and Tobago, Belize, Grenada, Guyana, and Haiti have already received funding. The Ministry of Health and Wellness in Barbados has denied reports that diplomats from some countries are exempt from taking a second COVID-19 PCR test. Acting Chief Medical Officer Dr. Kenneth George said yesterday, Monday, that the protocol requiring a second test to be taken 4 days after arrival with an initial negative test result applied to everyone. He was responding to a viral voice note that said there had been a reversal in the protocol as it related to members of the diplomatic community. It is now mandatory for all persons traveling to Barbados from high-risk and medium-risk countries to have a negative COVID-19 test result in order to enter the country. Overseas now, U.S. President Donald Trump yesterday made what the BBC calls a theatrical return to the White House. He will continue his treatment for coronavirus there after a 3-night hospital stay. Trump, who is still contagious, removed his mask on the balcony of the White House while posing for pictures. Several of Trump's staff and aides have also tested positive for the virus in recent days. questions remain over the seriousness of Trump's illness after a weekend of conflicting statements. The U.S. remains the country worst hit by COVID-19, with 210,000 deaths and 7.4 million cases. Singapore is offering a one-off payment to encourage people to have babies during the coronavirus pandemic. The worry is that citizens are putting off parenthood as they struggle with financial stress and job layoffs. The BBC says that details of the amount that could be paid have yet to be released. It is in addition to several hefty baby bonuses offered by the government. Singapore has one of the lowest birth rates in the world. It is in stark contrast to its neighbors such as Indonesia and the Philippines, which are facing the prospect of a massive spike in pregnancies from their coronavirus lockdowns. The Church of England failed to protect children and young people from sexual predators within their ranks, a report has concluded. The Independent Inquiry into Child Sex Abuse, IICSA's report says the Church's failure to respond consistently to victims and survivors of abuse often added to their trauma. It added that alleged perpetrators were often given more support than victims. The Church of England is expected to publish a response later. The report says 390 clergy members and other church leaders were convicted of abuse between the 1940s and 2018. A British appeals court has overturned a judgment which said the UK had recognized opposition leader Juan Guaido as Venezuela's president. The court on Monday that ruled the legal fight over Venezuela's $1 billion in gold reserves held by the Bank of England should be re-examined. At the heart of the battle is the question of who controls the gold stored in the Bank of England. Venezuela found itself in a political crisis after a hotly contested presidential election in 2019, which was won by Nicolas Maduro. But many countries, including the UK, recognize Guaido as Venezuela's president. The BBC reports that the case now goes back to the High Court. That's it for CGN News. I'm Scott Wilson. Thanks for watching.